Are you angry? Let's change that. Hey everybody, I'm Dave Swartz and welcome to another episode of Dose of Dave. So in today's episode, I want to talk about fear. I want to talk about fear and anger and how we can transmute them into something that's going to support us, something more like empathy, right? So today is the election. I don't typically like to engage in a lot of politics. I have my own opinions. I'm sure you do as well. But one of the things that I think is unescapable in this campaign season is the anger. There's a lot of anger on both sides. There's a lot of anger no matter, I think, who you believe or who you're voting for, truly. I think that's a reflection of a lot of things. I think it's a reflection of a lot of fear that people have of the outcome. I think a lot of people are afraid of what that may mean for them personally, but also what might that mean for other people that they care about. So there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of fear. And I think the question that I've been asking myself for many years now, but more recently, is what can we do about it, right? I personally choose not to engage in the mudslinging, the fear-based sort of attack of people that may or may not necessarily agree with your views wholeheartedly. And I say may or may not only because this world is full of nuance. There's too much nuance in human behavior and human culture in order for us to completely ignore it as part of the equation. So when I approach these types of conversations with someone that may or may not, have the same thought about the world, the same view about the world that I do, is I try to approach it with more empathy than I do fear or anger. And I understand that might be difficult. It's very difficult at times, especially when you're talking with someone who is unable really to hear you and really is only looking to, speak and have their opinion heard, which is part of the equation. So I've laid out a bunch of different things that I think everyone's been thinking about in this election cycle. A lot of things that may or may not be a trigger for your fear or for your anger. But I would like to talk just a little bit about, what we could do to fix that, what we could do to transmute that fear, that anger, into something that's more beneficial. And the reason I say that is because I don't believe that combating more fear and anger with more fear and more anger is just going to solve the problem, because I don't believe it will. That's part of the reason, if not maybe I think the major reason, why I choose not to engage in it, because I believe that it's only doing a service to maintaining the status quo, and that status quo is repeating the same cycles of fear and anger. So I choose not to engage in it. And what I try to do instead, and again, I shouldn't say try because words are magic, right? I choose to see what that person's viewpoint can do for me in a supportive way. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So when someone says to you, I don't believe that you're correct, I actually believe that you're wrong. Instead of not listening to them and just believing, oh, well, they just don't know me or they don't understand me, I would suggest that you actually listen for a change. Even if you may not think that they're right, even if you think that they may not add anything to your life or your perspective, I think that every moment, every conversation that you have with someone is a chance or an opportunity that's presented to you from the universe to learn something, to actually understand someone else's point of view and maybe change your own. Oh my gosh, change your own? I'm going to let someone else change my view, Dave? Am I going to let that happen? No. I think that you should never let someone completely change your worldview. But I think that you should allow for someone else's opinion to alter or to give you something to reflect on. I'm a huge believer in food for thought, no matter who it comes from, because we don't necessarily, I think, understand exactly who we are and exactly what we want unless it's examined, unless every opportunity is examined, unless you try a bunch of different things. I mean, think about it from, just an appetite perspective. How do you know that you don't like something until you try it? And I'll be honest, for me, almost every single time that I try something new that I've never tried before, if it's prepared with love and creativity and just an unbridled passion for what it is, then I would say 9 times out of 10, almost every single time, maybe even 10 times out of 10, even 10 times out of 10, that you're going to really enjoy it. And then it might be something that blows your mind to a point where you have now discovered something about yourself that you did not know before. And that, I think, is what listening to other opinions offers you. Now, again, I wouldn't say that everything that an opposing opinion has to offer you is going to be something that you can take constructively for yourself. But I think it will then create the energy, will create that space for other people who may not be as likely to listen to feel like they can listen, to feel like there is a space for them to listen. If you're constantly just ramming your own ideology or ramming your own rhetoric down someone else's throat, there's no space for them to really listen to you because they feel attacked or they feel like you're trying to ram it down their throat. You got to think about the energy that surrounds the words that you say and how you say it and the body language in which you're communicating it. Is that energy in alignment with how you want to communicate? Are you allowing your own anger, your own fear to miscommunicate or misconstrue your own words? And I'm sorry if you heard that. That was my stomach. It was chiming into the conversation because it was saying, no. Don't allow yourself to get in your own way when you're trying to communicate something. And that's part of the reason why I try not to engage in belittling anyone, because belittling someone is just creating an already negative energy. You're already coming at the conversation by basically telling that other person, this is what I really think of you. Do you really think of that person that way? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to remember that that other person in some way is a reflection of you. And I think that's why we're so angry and that's why we're so afraid when we hear opposing viewpoints, is we feel that within ourselves. We're angry about that at some level in ourselves. And we have an opportunity in that moment to, instead of yelling and screaming back at the other person, to maybe take a breath, go inside yourself for a moment, and truly ask yourself, why do I feel afraid right now? Why do I feel angry right now? And trace that thought back. Trace it back as far as you possibly can. And just keep asking yourself why. Why am I afraid? Why am I scared? I might be afraid because I may not have the money that I need for rent. I may be afraid because I may be oppressed or persecuted by another group. I may be afraid because I may lose my life. And those are all valid fears. And I shouldn't say that we shouldn't acknowledge them, because they should be acknowledged. You should acknowledge how you feel. But dwelling on it and constantly holding it in your energy moment to moment to moment, day to day to day, week to week to week, month to month to month, and dare I say year to year to year, it's only going to attract that same cycle of fear and anger that you've been stuck in for day to day to day, from week to week to week, from month to month to month, from year to year to year. And it's up to you, really, it's up to you, because there's nobody else that's going to be able to help you. And I know that sounds scary, but at the same time, it's also in a way liberating, isn't it? It's liberating to know that there are no answers out there somewhere else. There are no, Google searches that I can do that are going to save me this time. I'm going to have to do it for myself this time. And I think that is actually a pretty liberating and amazing experience, because you're going to come out of it a changed person, a transformed person, a person that doesn't need to see the world as full of fear and full of anger and full of worry and full of jealousy and all those other things. The world can be exactly how you want it to be. You just have to choose to see it and hold it right here in your heart, every moment, every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. And yeah, it might seem a little daunting. It might seem a little challenging from time to time, but I think it's only challenging and daunting at first because you're relearning how to be. And that's what it is. It is just being, holding that energy. Yeah, you have to do some work. Sure, you got to create your life. You've got to actually plant the seeds. But a lot of it is believing that plant is going to grow, believing that sprout is going to come out of that soil, and you're going to be able to love it and water it and watch it grow and enjoy the experience of it, not constantly be worried and constantly be angry that it's not happening the way that you want, or afraid that it's not going to grow into this beautiful life that you want to create for yourself. I know, because I've been there, and I still am in there. It's a learning process. We are all at the same time a teacher and a student. And I think when we accept that we're always learning, and we can always have an opportunity to teach something too, to be of service. I think all of those things will help you to transmute your anger and your fear and your worry into empathy. And not just empathy for others, but more importantly, empathy for yourself. Because we have to be more kind to ourselves. We can't be so hard on ourselves. Because again, that creates that energy. We have to forgive, and forgiving starts with ourselves. And I know I talked a lot about a bunch of different things just now, but I think it all ultimately speaks to the original topic of the video, which was transmuting your fear, your anger into empathy. Okay? All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good election day. No matter what happens, remember that everything is going to be just fine. Life will go on. And that you can create the life that you want for yourself. Cool. All right. Well, again, my name is Dave Swartz. You can find me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. Dave Swartz Art is my handle. Again, I hope that everybody has a great week, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week about another fun, fantastic Doser Dave topic. As always, we're going to finish out this video with a little bit of dancing. So everybody, shake it off, get that anger and that fear out, and let's replace it with empathy for ourselves. Okay? Take care.